Okay, in this set of videos, we are going to look at the different types of charts there are in Excel. Before we talk about the types of chart, I just want to show you how to insert a chart into a spreadsheet. There are one or two little issues that we sometimes have. So what we do is we highlight the data that we want. On this page, you'll notice I've got lots of different sets of data. And then we go Insert and we choose a chart type. Okay, and there's our chart. Now, there are two issues here. First issue is if you include the title, and then we insert our chart, you will get a blank section there because there's no data next to, or number, when I say data I mean number, next to the title. So that is one issue you need to avoid. The other one is sometimes things overrun a box, so you sometimes might have a space in between. If you have a space in between and you insert a chart, okay, sometimes you get these weird extra series, extra bits on and extra gaps and things like that you don't really want. So you need to make sure, and in the example work that I've given you or data, the example data that you're going to create charts on, you need to make sure that you do not have spaces. So if I was going to have something in the title, this is in cell 1, so I wouldn't want to click over there. I'd have to click into the second cell, which is in column B, and write the data into there. And as you can see, it does slim down the title, but we can click in between our columns and drag that along if we want to sort that out. But it's really, really important that you don't have in between it, and secondly, you only highlight the data. You don't highlight a title, you don't highlight extra spaces. Some people quite often highlight a lot of extra spaces. So that aside, that's just how we insert a chart. So now we're going to look at the different types of charts that there are. So we're going to take each type of data one at a time of these 4 sections and talk about the type of chart it would be. The first two could be either of the two types of chart that we're going to have. But we'll start with the first one. We'll highlight the data, and with just the data, nothing else. We'll go Insert and we'll choose a column chart. Okay, or you could choose a bar chart. A bar chart is just from left to right, and a column is from top to bottom. And there's our column chart. And what a column chart shows is actual numbers. So if I say this is a set of a certain number of people who we asked picked their favourite chocolate bar, I know 50 is Dairy Milk. I know 35 is Galaxy. That was the specific number of people. Okay, so that is a bar chart or a column chart. Right, the next one we're going to look at is a pie chart. So I highlight this data, which is the way these different people we asked travel to school, and I go Insert and I pick my pie chart. You will notice there's no numbers on there. There's just big sections. And if you think about 14 people, that number probably doesn't look like it represents 14. It looks like it represents more like 50 odd, not quite 50 odd. Well, actually, if we hover over it, you can see it says series 1 point walk value 14 brackets 47%. If I go over that one, it's series 1 point bus value 8 27%. Okay, so the colors relate here on the key to the different options, but it's a percentage, whereas we're getting specific numbers there. What this is the area compared to the whole. So it's saying if you made that circle everybody, that space would be the equivalent space of the people who chose walk. Okay, that space will be for bus, that space will be for train, and that space will be for cycle. It's not the actual number, it's how much it is compared to the whole thing. It's a nice visual representation to show you which one is the most, but it doesn't give you that specific data, whereas the bar chart gives you the specific data. Okay, but we can kind of pretty much interchange those. Basically, if you ask for the actual numbers, you choose a bar or column chart. If you're asked for percentages or comparing to the whole, you pick a pie chart. Right, the next two types of data are slightly different. So this one is quite pertinent to our school. It's the number of EPs per person for each term. So in the Christmas term, in the spring term, and in the summer term. And what this shows is a change over time. So the differences between each term. So when we highlight the data, and here we can highlight the subtitles, we need to pick a chart that will show the changes over time. So if I insert, I'm going to choose a line chart, because a line chart links up the changes over time. So when I do that, I get a nice chart which shows each one at a time and shows the changes. Okay, so in summer, Ainsley were here, Christmas they were here, and spring they were there. Now sometimes it comes up in a way like that where actually thinking, I don't really want the Christmas, spring, summer, I want them down the bottom, I want these to be each of the houses. And we can do that by right clicking, and if we go to change chart data, okay, we can choose, sorry, I put change chart type, select data. Okay, what we can do here is we can click switch row and column. So I'll click that button, that'll switch them over, click OK, and now I think that's a lot easier to see. Okay, so I'll show that again. It was right click, select data, and you can switch the columns and the rows to change which one is at the bottom. I prefer that one, so that might make life easier for you. Okay, but now we can see Ainsley, for instance, is the dark blue line, started up here in Christmas, they went down and then back up. Alcuin went up and then back down. Elmet have kept going up. So too have Fairfax, and York have gone up a little bit and then dropped down. But it's a change over time. The last type of data is similar in that it has the titles at the top, it has the sections down the side, but what it doesn't have is all the data filled in. This is term mark by learning habit. So I can say Mary got 75 learning habit and a term mark of 2. Ian got a 25% learning habit and a term mark of 3. So what you're doing here is you're comparing two bits of data. You're comparing two bits of data together. So what we do for that is insert, and we choose a scatter chart. Okay, and what a scatter chart will do is it will link those two bits of data. So I'm dragging something around here. It will link those two bits of data together. Okay, so we have got our numbers up there in terms of our learning habits, and then we've got our term marks down here. So our term marks here, and we've got numbers down there. Again, what we might need to do is right click, select data, and switch our row and columns again. So now we switched our row and columns, we can see term mark of 1, a 50% section is Ben, a term mark of 2 and a 75 is Mary. So these dots, the triangles, the colours, the X's, so the colour and the shape represent that person. Again, it's really important that if it doesn't look right, you go select data and you switch the row and columns around. So there we have it. We have 4 charts. Now those 4 charts show, firstly, our bar or column chart show our specific numbers for each. Our pie chart shows our percentage, or comparing one section to the whole. Our line chart shows changes over time, and our scatter chart compares 2 pieces of data. So when you're doing your task, when you're doing your work, you should easily now be able to kind of work out which chart to use for which type of data from the question and from what the data actually looks like.